Little Natalie's tummy couldn't stop growling. She had been hungry the whole afternoon, but it was evening now and her mom wasn't home yet.
Those rich people should stop making my mom work so much. I wish we'd never moved from France. Mom didn't have to work so hard there like she does here.
As she walked outside, she heard loud music coming from the biggest mansion in the whole countryside from afar. Her tummy told her to go there, and she found out there was a large party happening in the garden. Natalie started drooling when she saw the huge feast. She tried to sneak in, but a group of women blocked her.
Where do you think you're going, little girl? I'm hungry. Can I have some meat, please? And a glass of juice, too? Just look at her dirty clothes and hands. Disgusting. You're not welcome here, child. Be off with you.
Natalie was so mad at their meanness. Just as she turned to leave, she noticed a young boy around her age hiding in the bushes, and he looked furious. He was staring at a maid who was being scolded by the lady of the mansion, Mrs. Harrison.
How can you serve these fruits in a stupid basket? We have an expensive tray for this. Another mistake, and you're fired.
Mr. Harrison was trying to calm his wife down when their daughter Harper, who was the same age as Natalie, was making things worse.
I don't have the mood to eat those fruits anymore, Mom. That woman ruined my night.
Natalie felt so bad for the humiliated maid. She joined the boy in the bushes.
I hate these people. Me too. And that's my mom they're yelling at. They don't deserve all this delicious food. I have to teach them a lesson. Wait, are you gonna do something bad? Mom said you shouldn't do bad things no matter what.
But he just ignored her and dragged a bag of manure lying close by. Then he started climbing a tree that overlooked the garden. But moments later, the branch under him cracked, and he went tumbling down straight onto the food table, spreading cow poop everywhere. Everyone screamed, and Mrs. Harrison looked ready to explode. She yelled for security, and Natalie thought she had to do something to save her friend. And with that, she ran towards the nearest barn, rode on a young horse, and made it run around the garden, completely ruining the party.
You little rascals!
Natalie grabbed the boy's hand and they fled the scene.
I can't believe you just did that! You're so cool!
Natalie's tummy suddenly let out another growl. He chuckled and took out an apple from his pocket.
For you! Make it two, 'cause I saved your butt. I'll get you another one soon, promise. What's your name? Natalie. And you? Caleb. Nice to meet you, Natalie. Can we be friends? Okay.
And since then, Caleb and Natalie became best friends. Growing up, they shared their love for food and their hate for rich and mean people, especially for people like the Harrisons. Caleb was 11 years old when his mom met a guy, Mr. Cross, a gardener for the Harrisons. His mom said that from now on, Mr. Cross would be taking care of them.
Hello, Caleb. Your mom told me you like apples. And reading?
Not long after, Mr. Cross and Caleb's mom got married, and he became the hero in Caleb's eyes. He was so amazed by his stepdad, how smart and strong he was, and how good he was to both him and his mom.
When I grow up, I want to be just like you, Dad.
I'm sure you'll be better than me and every wealthy man in this land, my child.
He would help Caleb understand his math homework, give him tips on how to build a dove house, and he also gave him really good life lessons.
My dad told me something. I want to share it with you too, 'cause you're my best friend.
Really? Tell me.
He said, sometimes we need to stand up for ourselves and fight back, whatever it takes. Yes, we fight back the right way. Mom said we shouldn't do bad things no matter what. I know, you told me. But is it bad to defend ourselves? Do we just let other people do bad things to us and say nothing? You always speak about how unfair the system is in this town for poor people. Yeah, I do think that. Like, if someone hurts you, I'll hurt them too.
Natalie was surprised by how firmly Caleb said it. Suddenly, as she changed her position, she lost her balance and fell. Caleb laughed and helped her up.
Now, I don't know how to hurt the fence or the ground, but...
Caleb then kicked the fence and stomped his foot on the ground. Natalie found it funny. She liked the thought of Caleb as her protector and felt really lucky to have a best friend like him. And over the years, she grew to like him as much more, but she was too scared to admit it, too scared to ruin their friendship. One day in high school, she decided to cook his favorite food and surprise him at lunch, but her heart ached with jealousy when she saw him laughing with some girls in the canteen. She was leaving when Caleb called her name and walked up to her.
Is that for me?
Before she could reply, the girls jumped in and glared at Natalie.
Why are you friends with that dumbhead, Caleb? Same question. Handsome boys like you should hang out with pretty girls like us.
Suddenly, Caleb wrapped his arm around Natalie's shoulder.
My girlfriend is not a dumbhead. She's the smartest, coolest, and most beautiful girl I've ever known. So please, stop talking rubbish about her.
Girlfriend? As the humiliated girls left, Natalie turned to him. Why did you tell them that nonsense? Those girls are gonna hate me forever.
Are you mad?
Yes? I'm mad because you lied. We're not dating. We're just friends.
Fine, I'm sorry. But what if I wanted to be more than that?
What do you mean?
Can I hold your hand?
No.
I love you, Natalie. I've loved you since we were kids. Do you love me too?
Caleb's sincere gaze made her melt. Yes, I think I feel the same way. Caleb started to lean in closer, and when their lips finally touched, she felt like she was on cloud 9. After that, the best friends became lovers, and Natalie was really happy with Caleb as his girlfriend. But over time, things started to get complicated. His mom fell really sick, and his stepdad's earnings weren't enough for her medicines. So Caleb was forced to take more part-time jobs around the farm. He hardly had any time to spend with Natalie anymore. Meanwhile, that night at the Harrisons, the family was having their usual dinner. Mr. Harrison was talking about the progress of their business, while Mrs. Harrison was being pushy towards their son to date someone.
I don't understand the rush. I'm so young, I'll have plenty of time later on.
You have plenty of time now.
I don't, Mom. I'd rather focus on school than date. Love is nothing but a stupid distraction.
All work and no play makes people really dull, darling. Remember Sheila? Benjamin's daughter. I think she's a nice girl.
Mom, I don't like her. She's weirdly obsessed with me.
Duke, she cares about you.
Let him be for now. Don't push him so hard. He'll eventually find someone.
But Sheila might not be around till he decides he's ready. And I think she would be so good for him. She's a smart young woman. They're perfect for each other.
I have no interest in wasting my time on girls right now.
Oh, brother, how about boys? Do you want to share something?
Shut up, Harper.
Well, Sheila and her parents are visiting us soon, and you will spend time with her so you can get to know each other. Who knows? Maybe it will end in a wedding. Hearing that, Duke suddenly felt the urge to lie.
I'm sorry, Mom, but I already have a girlfriend.
What?
I said I'm not dating Sheila because I already have a girlfriend.
Since when do you have a girlfriend?
Since 6 months ago, but we kept it a secret. I don't want people in my business.
Duke left the table and decided to take a walk in the gardens to cool off. Suddenly, he heard someone behind him and turned around to see it was just Mr. Cross.
Oh, sorry, Master Duke. I didn't mean to disturb your walk. You look a little upset. I'm not. It's really nothing. Just sometimes parents can be too much. Do you have kids, Mr. Cross? A son, the same age as you. Maybe I'll introduce you sometime.
Duke was feeling too preoccupied, so he just smiled at their gardener and walked off. That weekend, Natalie's mom caught a serious flu, so later that day she went to town with Caleb to buy some medicine. While they were in the pharmacy, his stepdad called him.
I need to stop by a dad's friend's place to pick up a package. Wait for me in the town square. I'll be right back.
Natalie bought the medicines and sat on a bench in the town square. Her favorite thing in that old place was the old horse statue in the center. They're such gorgeous and magical creatures. Just then, she noticed that its red eye patch was lying on the ground. She picked it up, and as she placed it back on, the statue suddenly wobbled. She tried to make it steady, but it just suddenly toppled to one side and broke into pieces. Holy mighty horsey! Natalie stared at the sight in complete shock. The townspeople quickly gathered around, and they went berserk.
How could you be so reckless and ruin the pride of our town?
Isn't it bad enough that we have to live with a foreigner who badmouths our town and its systems? And now you've ruined our cultural legacy! Some of them even started crying, and Natalie felt panic. She tried to contact Caleb, but her phone's battery was actually dead. I swear, I didn't do anything. It was already unsteady. Please, forgive me. But the townspeople were blazing mad. Soon the police came, and as they were questioning her, everyone suddenly became silent as they made the way for someone. Natalie lifted her head and met someone's eyes. Duke, the oldest child of the Harrisons.
What's going on here? This girl just caused serious damage to a public property, and we need her to come with us to the station.
Duke just nodded at them, and soon, Natalie found herself sitting in a police station. Please, officer, just let me go home first. My mom is sick, and she must be really worried. But the officer just ignored her. A few minutes later, Duke came out of the main office.
You're free to go. I've taken care of everything.
Huh? What do you mean?
I paid $50,000 for the fine and damages so you won't go to prison.
What? Why are you doing this? You don't even know me.
Because I need you.
What? What do you mean? Duke then dragged her outside the station to talk.
Listen, I need you to work for me as my fake girlfriend for a month, and I'm gonna pay you for it.
I'm sorry, but can you repeat what you just said? I'm not sure if I heard it right.
I think you did. You don't look like you have any hearing problems.
Is that how you joke? Because it's super lame. Even hyenas won't laugh at it.
Do I look like a clown to you?
How can you offer me a ridiculous job when you don't even know if I have a boyfriend or not?
Look, I don't care whether you're single or whatever. I'm not interested. I just need you to pretend to be my girlfriend and convince everyone that we're in love, especially my family.
But why would you need a fake girlfriend anyway? You can just have a real one. Just choose any girl but me. You rich people are used to getting whatever you want anyway.
I asked you to be my fake girlfriend, not to become an interviewer. In private, we'll be practically strangers minding each other's business. I can prepare a contract tomorrow.
What makes you think I'll accept your offer? I don't want this weird job. Don't worry, I'll think about another way of repaying you.
There is no other way. Accept my job, or return my money immediately. It should be the exact amount that I spent to save your sorry little butt.
Natalie wanted to yell at him for blackmailing her, but she knew she couldn't pay him back. Let me think about it.
I don't have much time. I'll give you a day. Let's meet at the cafe tomorrow, same time as this.
Before Natalie could say anything more, he turned around and left. When she got home, she found Caleb's messages saying that he'd be staying at his stepdad's friend's house for the night. Natalie really needed to talk to him, but she was also worried about how he would react. She also didn't want to tell her mom about this yet and stress her out. So later that night, she went to her favorite spot on the farm to think it over alone. Suddenly, Caleb appeared beside her.
Hey, what are you doing here? Wait, Nat, are you crying? Tell me what's wrong.
She didn't have a choice but to tell him everything.
Are you serious? You shouldn't have let him help you.
He took care of it himself, and I could never pay $50,000 on my own.
But of all the girls, why does he want you? This is stupid. I thought Harper was evil. I didn't expect that her brother would be worse.
Look, if he didn't help me, I'd be cold and miserable in jail right now.
But he obviously helped you just to force you into this stupid job.
What am I gonna do? He left me with no choice.
Seeing my girlfriend dating another guy is torture, Nat. It doesn't matter if it's fake or not.
Caleb got up and furiously kicked some rocks. Okay, fine. I won't do it. I'll have to think of another solution then. As Natalie's tears poured, Caleb sighed and sat down.
Okay, I'm sorry. Don't cry, please. Let's talk this over. You'll just be acting, and it's only for a month, right? And are you sure he's paying you a huge amount for it?
Yes, I'll just be a fake girlfriend. I'll never fall in love with that jerk, ever.
Okay, I'll agree to it, but on one condition.
What is it? Hi, I'm Lucy. Get some popcorn and settle down because my story is bonkers. Don't forget to like and subscribe to MSA. My childhood was crazy. Mom was super strict and was always breathing down my neck to make sure I followed all her dumb house rules. Lucy, this placemat is 0.5 inches to the left. I'm so disappointed in you. Seriously? I got no dessert because of freaking placemats. And Dad was a complete weirdo. He stayed in his study all day long and only left at night with a suspicious-looking briefcase. But whenever I asked him what was in it, he would always tell me to mind my own business. So rude. One day, I was playing football by myself in the park when two mean-looking men grabbed my ball and squished all the air out of it. Hey, are you stupid? You're supposed to kick the ball, not squish it.
She's a little firecracker. Where's your dad, little girl? He owes us an apology.
Why? Who are you? And what did my dad do to you?
You ask too many questions. Let's just say your father isn't a very nice man. Selfie!
And they took pictures with me and left. What was going on? I ran home and confronted Dad. He looked panicked but told me it was no big deal. But I wasn't going to let it go. That night, I sneaked out of my room like a ninja and tried to get into Dad's study. But suddenly, a loud alarm went off and red lights flashed all over the house. I nearly jumped out of my skin in fright. Dad was so furious, he made me write 200 times, "I will mind my own business." But the next day, he was gone. I looked for him everywhere and called him, but his phone was off.
and I felt guilty. Had he left because of me? But Mom refused to talk about him. Aren't you even a little bit worried about Dad? He's missing.
He's a grown man. I'm sure he can take care of himself.
People said he's a bad man. What did he do?
What have I told you about listening to idle gossip? And straighten your back.
Ugh, she was the worst. Rather than go to the police and file a report, she moved us to a new city. I was so mad at her that I stopped showering for a week. Then I accidentally smelled my own armpits and nearly fainted, so I finally took a bath. But I stopped doing chores according to her ridiculous rules.
Lucy, I told you to dry the laundry, not dye it.
Oops. But I was only getting started. I always put the forks and knives in different drawers around the house after washing them and screwed up the TV remote so it wouldn't work properly. I dyed my hair orange and got fake piercings and tattoos, but told her they were real. She was so upset, she got me enrolled in an insanely strict school.
They have uniforms and rules. I'm sure they'll knock some sense into you.
Not if I knock them over first. St. Mary's was a mansion with super rich kids. The lawns were perfectly kept, and the halls were so clean they shone like diamonds. But I got in trouble on the very first day. I was putting my books in my locker when suddenly someone threw a hoodie in my face. Wear this. Your ugly face is gonna make me vomit. Then look somewhere else, creep. This is a respectable school. We don't want people like you, so you better clean up. She knocked the milkshake out of my hand and pushed me down in the mess. I saw red. I was about to get up and slap this crazy witch when suddenly a boy came running down the hall and stood between us.
Picking on the new kid on the first day? You're really desperate for attention, aren't you, Crystal?
Mind your own business, Anthony. This is my school, not your dad's office. What I say goes.
Maybe I should give him a call and we'll see who really runs this school.
Crystal looked furious. She flipped her hair and left with her minions, and Anthony helped me up.
Hey, I'm sorry about Crystal. Just because she's the principal's daughter, she thinks she can boss everyone around.
Thanks for coming in like a knight in shining armor.
I always wanted to save a damsel in distress.
Oh, you didn't save me. You saved her from me. But the teachers at the school were like Mom Pro Max. They gave detention for everything. Need to sharpen your pencil twice a day? Detention. Spend more than 5 minutes in the bathroom? Detention. The last straw for me was when one of the teachers took away my bag of candies and threw them in the trash.
Just keep your candy at home.
Mom is a bigger candy police than the teachers. One time I had more than one M&M and she took me to the dentist for a cleaning.
That's intense. Come over to my place and we can play video games and eat all the candy you want.
Anthony's house was bigger than the White House. There were guards all over the place and a whole room dedicated to gaming consoles, snacks, and a freaking cotton candy machine. Fart in my face to wake me up because I must be dreaming.
You are so weird.
We played till our eyes hurt, and it was the best time I'd ever had in my life. Over a dinner of greasy burgers, I told him all about my parents, how we'd moved so suddenly, and how I'd never had a normal childhood, and how Dad left. I think Dad was a criminal or something. That's the only logical explanation.
Is that why he disappeared?
Maybe. This is the best burger I've ever had. Mom would freak out if she saw me eating this.
That just shows your mom really cares about you. My dad builds bridges and has a whole list of rules that he needs to follow strictly or people's lives could be in danger. Your mom is just trying to build a strong bridge.
I'd never really thought about it like that. Maybe Mom wasn't so bad. But Anthony was so wrong, because when I got home, Mom was waiting for me in the living room, boiling with anger.
How dare you go to a friend's house without permission? Do I even know these people?
You'd know about my friends if you cared about anything other than your stupid rules.
You're grounded.
I hated my life at home, and Crystal was making me miserable at school. She was the student body president and was always after me for breaking some rule, which she made up herself. Ugh, I know you can't fix your ugly face, but at least have the decency not to smile. Your crooked teeth really make everyone cringe. Detention. For smiling? That isn't against the rules. No, but it should be for you. Well, if I'm gonna do the time, I might as well do the crime. I was getting detention so often that kids in school had started calling it getting a Lucy. It was ridiculous. So I decided to get even in the most Lucy way possible. I came in super early one day, did a little dance for the security camera,
and drew poop emojis all over Crystal's locker. But why stop there?
The whole school was a blank canvas, so I drew the little brown swirls on every whiteboard and bathroom stall. The school went nuts. One of the teachers fainted. The principal called me into her office, and soon after, Mom showed up with Dad's briefcase. She told me angrily to go outside for a few minutes. "You're definitely going to get expelled, Lucy. That's what happens when you don't follow the rules." But just then, the principal came out looking pale and sweaty.
Well, Lucy, I've decided not to expel you. I can see you don't do well with rules, so maybe we can relax a few and make learning easy for you.
What? I was shocked, but Crystal had a full-blown meltdown. "This loser drew poop all over my locker. She can't get away with this. I want her out, Mommy. Kick her out." The principal had to drag Crystal into her office because she was kicking and screaming like a 5-year-old. And Mom grabbed my hand and took me home for the day. "What just happened? What did you say to the principal? Did you threaten her? What's in that briefcase?"
That's none of your business. Just keep your head down at school. I saved your butt this time, but it won't always work.
"No, maybe you're a criminal just like Dad. I don't trust you at all. I won't do anything you ask until I know the truth." I ran out the door and went to stay with Anthony. It was the only place I felt safe. Mom kept calling, but I ignored her calls. The next day, people in school were looking at me like I was some kind of hero. One of Crystal's minions actually dusted my locker and opened it for me, while another girl brought me coffee and offered to carry my books. What's going on here? Why are you guys doing this?" "Because someone finally put Crystal in her place. She's no longer the student body president thanks to you. We were all so tired of her being mean to us." "Aw, shucks. But I didn't really do anything. Thanks for the coffee, but you don't have to do this anymore, okay?" Life was pretty sweet after that. The teachers left me alone, and Crystal's day of ruling the school halls was over. She was always glaring at me like she was planning something evil in that petty brain of hers. And a few weeks later, I found out what. Someone had spray-painted poop emojis on every teacher's car and left a giant cat turd on the principal's windshield. Don't look at me. I didn't do it. Then who did? You're such a witch, Lucy. Everyone tried their best to make you straighten your ways, but you're a lost cause. Once a criminal, always a criminal. You take that back. You're a criminal. I slapped Crystal so hard that her contacts fell out. I was expelled on the spot, and the teachers reported me to the police for destroying their cars. My case was being investigated, and I was probably going to end up in juvie. But I wasn't a criminal like Dad, and I had to prove my innocence. So that night, I sneaked into the school's security room and got all the camera footage on a USB, and then ran to Anthony's place.
Lucy, what happened? Why did you do that to all the teachers' cars?
I didn't. Someone's framing me, and I'm gonna find out who. We used his laptop to look through the videos, but there were hours and hours of it, and I was getting sleepy. I went to the bathroom to change into my pajamas when I saw something that made the hair on the back of my head stand up.
Hey, Lucy, I think I found the footage, but it's no good. The person's wearing a hoodie and a mask. I don't think you'll be able to prove it wasn't you.
And that's exactly what you wanted, didn't you? I threw the hoodie and mask in his face. They had the same spray paint stains as the one used to make the emojis. He looked shocked at first, but then an evil grin spread on his face.
No one is going to believe a nobody like you. They shouldn't have believed your